Plenty of wars in human history have started because one person was assassinated. But not like this one. Not on this scale. Even though he was affiliated with DICE and the Unified System government, Paul Rezko was the most beloved politician I've ever seen in my lifetime, which is saying something considering how much scrutiny most people in politics usually get. On May 25th, 2278, after calling for an unexpected public press release, he was shot and killed from the crowd by someone claiming to be a part of one of the anti-DICE civilian militias that have been popping up over the last few months. The same militias that were actively fighting against DICE wherever they could. Personally, I agreed entirely with what the militias and the PMCs were doing. DICE was abusing its power, and something did have to be done about it, but I didn't think that Paul Rezko had anything to do with it. It didn't help matters any when DICE and USG forcefully installed a new governor, Marcus Sawyer, that immediately began to start mobilizing DICE forces against the militias. Fighting aside, I was beyond skeptical about Rezko's assassination, and what I was about to do was a long shot, but none of it sat right with me. A couple of weeks after the assassination, I returned to Rialza and started to call in a few favors.
In the wake of Paul Rezko's assassination, local militias have escalated violence across all of the Kaleidoscope Star Cluster. DICE and USG representatives are urging civilians to remain in their homes and not to engage in any interactions with known militia members. But there are some that are asking themselves, are these militias, PMCs, and corporations really in the wrong for fighting back against the recent sanctions and embargoes? Later at 11, is Marcus Sawyer really the right person for the job?
God,
Interview
can
with
we
the new
please turn this
governor
off?
as we dive into his planned
Why?
policies.
You don't want to know what's going on in your world.
It's because I know what's going on in the world that I don't feel like hearing it. It's almost depressing. Just find a warball game on or something.
Alright. Fair enough. But anyway, since when did you like Warball?
Void would always get me to watch it, and it's growing on me lately.
Miss Snow? Kara?
Yes, Sarah?
Could I maybe get something to eat?
You're not getting sick of ration packs already, are you? I'll see what we can do. Hey, Imka, is Harvey still up front?
He should be, yeah.
All right, I'll be back in a sec. I was back at Harvey's bar with Imka while we waited for some of his crew to come in from a job. Some people might say that was no place for a child to be, but it's not like I could leave her by herself on our ship. Besides, I loved having her around. Taking care of her kept me grounded during those months. Those were the only times when I didn't feel the weight of the world on my shoulders, or an overwhelming sense of self-loathing. But being able to teach her almost everything I knew was a great feeling. Though she was still getting used to calling me by my first name. But there were times when I was hyper-focused on a mission, so I occasionally turned a blind eye to her when I might have been working on something else. Walking from the back room we were in, I found Harvey and asked if he could get one of his staff to make something for Sarah. He happily obliged and declined when I pulled out a few stacks for the trouble. Even he seemingly took a liking to Sarah fairly fast. I went back into the back room where Imka and Sarah were waiting and sat down on the couch next to her. All right, your food is on the way.
Spasiba.
So what are you playing?
I don't know, actually. It was already on your holo tablet.
Huh. Well, do you think you could teach me how to play later?
Yeah, but only if you promise we can shoot again later.
Of course we can.
Wait, no. Your teacher had a shoot already.
Yeah? Coming from the guy so concerned about what's going on in the world, I'd think you'd be on board with that. I just want her to be able to protect herself if anything ever happens.
Hey, look, gal, I just be saying, and I didn't start that young, and I didn't even see a video game till I was at least 9. My father always said they rot the brain, you know.
Yeah, because we should all aspire to be like you someday. But jokes aside, where are they? We've been waiting for 2 hours now.
No idea. They should be in about any second now.
They'd better be, or
what?
else I can find someone that can do your job and actually show up on time. Shouldn't be too hard to find someone with half a brain. Imka's crew finally made their way to the bar, and I stood up and stared up at the massive man in front of me. His eyes were locked on mine, and the tension in the room was thick. I could see Sara out of the corner of my eye, and I could tell she was worried about what might happen. After a few seconds, Dragov and I couldn't contain ourselves, and we burst out laughing as he gave me a massive bear hug. Dragov, it's been way too long. How are you?
Not too bad. We've been keeping busy. And what about you, eh? Usually you would have seen us coming from a mile away. Don't tell me Kara Snow has lost a step or two.
In your dreams. But I've been moving around a lot lately.
Ah, and who's this?
Come on, Sara. It's all right. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sara.
Меня зовут Dragov. And where are you from?
Azarel? But my parents were from St. Petersburg on Earth.
О, блядь! Peter! Серьезно? I used to visit in my childhood. It was my second home away from Kaleidoscope. Beautiful city.
I never got to go, but one day I want to.
For those that didn't know her, some might think that Sara was just shy or even scared to talk with Dragov. At 6'8", with facial scars, a voice deeper than any ocean, and built like a mining ship, most people would be scared. But I could tell Sara was just in awe at the size difference between them. I found her back on Cidalara, and she's been with me since then. It's been nice having her around. I'm hoping
you don't teach her to be as bad as the rest of you.
Honey, go back to your game for a bit.
Okay.
Snow.
Krukov. Alexi Krukov. Imka's right hand, and the one person in the Milky Way that hated me more than anyone. I'm surprised she even came at all. But as much as I hate to admit it, I needed her for what was about to happen.
So, you gonna teach her to run around killing my friends too? Or is that more Melissa's thing?
Alexi, just take
Where's
up.
the rest of them, anyway? Don't you usually have to have your little family around you? Always thought that side of you guys would be endearing, if you weren't a bunch of killers.
They're dead.
What?
They were killed in an ambush months ago.
Well, that sucks. But if you're expecting my condolences, you won't get them.
God, you know what, Krukov? You were just so blinded by the fact that you hate us so much that you just refused to admit that your friends weren't really your friends.
I'm blinded. Snow, Melissa literally killed Zari and Jay for nothing.
Nothing? Christ, Alexi. They made a deal to sell out your lives for a payday.
That's bullshit, Snow. She killed them in cold blood.
She killed them to protect you and everyone else.
That's only what you think happened.
No, that's not what happened. If you'd let go of your damn pride for 2 seconds, you'd see that. So either get over it or go back to corporate life. You need to realize something. You chose this life and this crew. We didn't. We were practically born into this, and it's all I've ever known. You knew exactly what you were getting into and chose to stay. So you can call us killers or whatever else you'd like, but I gave that order to protect them. And yes, even you. I could see all over Alexi's face that she was pissed because of what I said. But she needed to hear that, because as brilliant as she was completely ignorant to the reality of the life she chose, never seeming to realize that even the people close to her could betray her and would even be willing to kill her. And honestly, I was angry. Constantly being reminded of the family I've lost. That I was born into, while she was still bitter about a couple of backstabbing traitors just infuriated me.
So, Kara, what is this all about? Surely you didn't call us all here for a heartfelt reunion.
No, I didn't. So, everyone knows what happened with Paul Reska. The guy that took the shot, Daniel Tiamann, might have the intel I need. I want to break him out of prison.
Whoa, nah, gal, wait a moment. My ears must be going out already. You wanna do what exactly?
Better question? What the hell do you mean he might have intel you need? You're not sure?
It's a long shot, I know, but something just doesn't feel right about the whole thing. Despite all of your guys' line of work, I'm sure even you can see that it doesn't make sense to kill a politician like Reska. Publicly, he was always against the sanctions that DICE and the USG enforced. Killing him is just illogical from any perspective you look at it. I know I'm reaching with this one, but I'm beginning to think that someone wants to start a war between Kaleidoscope and DICE. Killing my team, Paul Reska, everything just seems very deliberate.
No da. Yes, makes sense. And I definitely agree. But do we even know where he's being held? Can't just run around Kaleidoscope hitting prisons at random.
Yeah, he's being held in the Sky Ronin Security Zero Gravity Prison in orbit around Rialza.
Alright, Sky Ronin's gonna be a pain to deal with, but I think we can manage. Do we have any floor plans of the place? Going in blind is gonna be stupid if all.
Not quite yet, but somebody should be calling me in about 3, 2, 1.
God, I hate it when she does that clairvoyant shit.
Why?
It's fucking creepy!
Kara, been a while. How you been?
Not bad. Could always be better, though.
I heard about the... I'm sorry. My contacts are telling me some Black Antler unit got taken out shortly afterwards, though. Guessing that was you.
As I started the call, I went out of the back door so I didn't have to hear the others talking amongst themselves. The man on the other end of the call was Voltaire Andrews, the CEO of Sky Ronin Armory and their security subsidiary. He was also a longtime friend to the team. Oh, don't you watch the news? They were caught in a motor pool explosion. I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Snow. Either way, I'm glad the team can rest easy.
Unfortunately, they can't quite yet. That's what I need to talk to you about. I need a favor.
Alright, shoot.
I need to get into the Sky Ronin 0G prison. I've got to ask Daniel Tiamann some questions, and you've got the floor plans for the place.
Not gonna happen, Kara. That could get me in his cell right next to him. What could you possibly want with him anyway?
I can't fully explain it, but I just have this gnawing feeling that he knows something about why we were ambushed. Or at the very least, is somehow connected to the people that know. Please, just this once. I need this. It got to a point where I was practically begging for the floor plans. Ever since they were killed, I've had to compartmentalize those thoughts about my team. But there were nights where I'd lie awake thinking about every possible scenario where I could have saved them. Constantly thinking about how it could have and should have been me. Lamenting myself, knowing I could have been a better leader somehow. And my dreams. God, they were no better. Seeing them die over and over was just a gut check every time I managed to fall asleep. I guess that's what Survivor's Guild felt like. So yeah, if I had to beg for the floor plans in order to get even a sliver of intel that would lead me to the people responsible, then that's exactly what I'd do.
I'm sorry, Kara, but I just can't right now. I'm already under a lot of scrutiny here from the board, and I can't
Let me guess. 3 missing helmets that up and vanished from a shipment a couple months back.
Yeah. Wait. How the hell do you know about that?
That's not important. But what is important is that I have a tracker on them right now that will lead you to the people that have them.
Do I even want to know what you had to do in order to get that close to Planet Tracker?
No, you really don't. So what are you willing to give up to get those helmets back?
Alright, fine. I'm sending the plans to your holotablet now with Tiamann's cell highlighted.
Thanks. Just sent over the tracking info. The guys that have them are amateurs, so it shouldn't be a problem for SRS to retrieve them.
Look, I just hope this long shot of yours actually pans out. Otherwise, you'll be committing multiple system-wide felonies for no reason.
Well, it's not like any law enforcement could catch up to me anyway, but thank you. If all goes well, you won't even hear about an alarm.
And Kara. Please don't kill any of our guys.
Don't worry, I won't.
Stay safe, Snow.
I hung up the call and went back inside to the others. Everyone was staring at me in anticipation, with the exception of Sara, who'd gotten her food and was still playing her game as she glanced at me with a warm smile. I returned the smile and got straight to business with Imka and the others.
So, what the plan?
The prison is set up like a traditional circular space station. That's Gen Pop. Problem is that our target is in the central spire. You can tell just by looking at the plans that it'll be heavily guarded.
Great. So how do we get in?
I looked over at Imka with a knowing smile, and he immediately knew what I was thinking.
Really know, you wanna use me as bait? The prisoner and all that?
Hey, I didn't say anything.
But see, sister, you don't need to. You get the same damn look on your face whenever you come up with your harebrained schemes.
But yeah, you and Dragov. Since bounty hunting is illegal in Kaleidoscope, that's gonna be our easiest way in. And I've got a bounty hunting license attached to half of my false identities.
Makes sense, Imka. Any security isn't going to be worried about anything else when someone brings in the most prolific arms dealer in the system.
So, where does that leave me?
Visitation. We need someone to hack any system we come across and keep security cameras on a loop. Plus, you'll be closer to the ship than the rest of us, so we can extract before anything happens.
All right. From what I've heard from some friends that did a stint there, they all say that visitation has a long wait time. Should give you guys at least 30 minutes to do what you need to do.
All right. Once we're in, we'll break off and grab Tiamann. Once we do, head back to the ship and prep for exfil.
And Snow?
Yeah?
Once this is over, this makes us even from that last job.
Deal.
Wait. Alexi, you owed Kara?
Oh yeah, now that's a story I got to hear.
Too bad it's a story you never will.
Kara, do you have to go?
Yes, I do. But it's only for a few hours, I promise. I just have to run out to a meeting with someone and I'll be right back. Harvey's gonna watch you for a little bit and I'll be back before you know it.
Promise?
I promise. And when we get back, we'll pick up where we left off with your shooting lessons.
Okay. Can I have a gun just in case something happens?
Absolutely not, young lady. But when you're old enough, you can. Though I was extremely surprised by Sara's question, I immediately turned my attention to what we were about to do. No one had ever even successfully broken out of the Sky Ronin security prison, let alone broken into it and gotten someone out. Crazy didn't even begin to describe this plan. I was just hoping that everything would work out the way I needed it to. I then gave Sara a hug, and the rest of us made our way towards my ship. Around 45 minutes later, we had Imka and Dragov in flex cuffs, and we were making our approach to the 0G prison. Even though I already had my mag boots on, I could feel the familiar feeling of weightlessness as I looked beyond the cockpit of my shuttle towards the massive structure that held Kaleidoscope's most notorious criminals.
Incoming target class. This is SRS Control. Please identify, over.
SRS Control, this is Transport Shuttle Wolfpack. I have 2 detainees prepped for processing and 1 for visitation. Sending registry data and IDs now. Over.
Data received. You're clear, Wolfpack. Maintain current heading to Dock 3. And just head straight to processing. Over.
Thanks, Control. Out.
That went better than expected.
And I listen close. 1,000 stacks says you just whop this whole thing out the water. And we're going to end up in a cell together, see?
You better hope not. I have connections that can get me out of there in an hour if need be, but the rest of you all would be locked up until the end of time. But get ready, we're about to dock. And remember, non-lethal only, if and only if you need to take someone down. I could feel my ship rumble as the docking clamp connected, and as soon as I heard the airlock seal, I opened the docking bay door. There were already 2 guards waiting for us as we walked into the processing area. They must have known who Imka and Dragov were, because they immediately moved their hands towards their weapons, and were practically picking their jaws off of the floor. By now, Alexi would already be looping the cameras in the entire block to make sure that by the time we were gone, that the footage wouldn't come back to bite us later.
Holy shit, is that who I think it is?
Yep. Imka Jabulani and Dragov Vladimir. Caught them down on Rialza, in Sila district, trying to move a shipment of weapons.
Damn, lady, that must have been a hell of a fight to get both of them.
It wasn't too hard. Honestly, I thought they put up more of a fight. I saw Imka shoot me a look over his shoulder that made me suppress a smile. We took Imka and Dragov through the entire processing protocols and made our way towards the central spire, while Alexi broke off to the visitation waiting room. As we moved, one guard stayed behind at processing, while the other continued to escort us towards the cell where they thought they'd be holding Imka and Dragov. Hey, if you want, I can take him from here. I know where I'm going.
Normally, ma'am, I would, but for the detainees going into the central spire, we have to accompany them at all times.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want anyone breaking out now, would you?
Hey! No talking, inmate.
Honestly, I was betting on the fact that most prison guards usually just get out of the way and let bounty hunters do their thing. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We kept walking in silence for a bit until we came across the storage room. I gave Imka's cuffs a slight tug so that he knew to be ready. As we approached the door to the storage room, I grabbed the guard by the neck and had him in a rear naked choke in less than a second and had him unconscious by 10. I hid his body in the storage room and helped Imka and Dragov get their cuffs off. From there, we all moved quickly towards Tiamann's cell, with Alexi guiding us over comms.
Wait, stop where you are. You've got 2 heading your way. Not seeing any other direction they can go, so you're gonna have to get rid of them.
Copy, holding. Kara, we're not going to have time to move these guys.
I know. I waited as the 2 guards approached the T intersection where we were waiting for them, and I watched as Imka and Dragov knocked them both out with practiced efficiency.
All right, guys, after that, you've got 10 minutes, max. Hurry it up. We need to get gone.
Someone's a little impatient today.
More like cautious. Just hurry the hell up.
Luckily for us, the rest of the path towards the cell was relatively clear. Approaching the door, I told Alexi to open the door to the cell, and it opened before I even got a chance to finish the sentence. As we looked inside, we found Daniel Tiamann, floating, reading a book. He wasn't what I pictured the most famous political assassin of our time to look like. He had brown hair with a welcoming face, almost like a child's, and I could practically see his bones through his thin frame. But that could have just been the zero gravity, and all but guaranteed lack of actual food.
Who are you guys?
Not important, but it's your lucky day. We're getting you out.
All right, awesome. I'm certainly not going to argue, but I don't have any mag boots, so I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with you.
Upon hearing this, Dragov immediately yanked Tiamann from his zero-G comfort and slung him over his shoulder. Moving into the hallway, seemingly every alarm in the prison started blaring.
Guys, you have to hurry up. Seems like they found the guard you knocked out. Get back to the ship now.
Get the ship prepped. Shouldn't take us too long.
Yeah, I know.
We started moving back towards the ship the way we came in. Every guard in the station was on high alert, and certain sections of the prison were starting to get shut down at random in an attempt to contain us. About halfway to the ship, we got caught by a group of 6 guards, and we were cornered. We started running down a corridor, and I told Dragov to hand off Tiamann to me while they broke off and moved directly to the ship.
Where the hell are we going? Isn't your ship in the other direction?
It is, but there's no way in hell all of us are going to make it there. Now that they know you're out, they're going to come after us.
And isn't that exactly why we should be going in the other direction?
Don't worry, I've got an idea.
Girl, we back at the ship. The hell you doing?
With any luck, she's getting herself killed.
Not the time, Alexi.
I've got an idea. Just get the ship ready and be ready to move towards the airlock on the other side of the station. How long should it take you to get there?
About 10 seconds. What are you thinking, Kara?
Don't worry about me, just be there.
Check. Prepping now.
We kept running as fast as we could towards Dock 6 on the other end of the station. As soon as I found the airlock, we were boxed in by seemingly every guard in that cell block. We slowly backed into the airlock, and I closed and locked the door in front of us.
Come out with your hands above your head and surrender Tiamann peacefully.
Sorry, but I can't. Get an EVA suit on now.
I moved to the wall with Tiamann and quickly began to put on an EVA suit and helmet. I could see on all the guards' faces that they were extremely confused and had no idea what to make of the situation.
Look, you have nowhere left to go. We have teams that can just pull you from space. Just make this easy on yourself and come out.
Alexi, start moving the ship in exactly 7 seconds.
Copy.
Once I was sure Tiamann had his EVA suit on, I opened the secondary airlock that led into the vacuum of space. And on the 7th second, I grabbed Tiamann and we jumped from the station. Those 10 seconds were a contender for being the longest 10 seconds of my life. Anyone that says being out in space without a tether isn't terrifying is full of shit. At exactly 10 seconds, my mag boots connected with the outer hull of my ship as it was flying past, and we quickly made our way inside from the only airlock on my ship.
All right, Snow, you're officially out of your mind. I won't lie, though, that was pretty impressive.
Oh, holy shit, Kara, that was insane.
Insane is an understatement. That shouldn't even have been possible. How the hell did you know that was even going to work?
Well, unfortunately, the team and I had to do that on more than one occasion. But usually, with a hell of a lot more planning.
I, for one, am never doing that again. Jesus, that was terrifying. Never thought Raven employed people as crazy as you guys. But thank you for getting me out.
The millisecond that Tiamann mentioned Raven, something switched on inside of me. Apparently, the entire mission wasn't as much of a long shot as I initially thought. I slowly walked over to him while grabbing a knife from a nearby crate. As he took off his EVA helmet, I slammed him against the wall, pressing the knife against his throat, and I saw his eyes go wide with fear as he stared into my greenish blue and purple eyes that must have had the same look in them as when I took out the Shadow Walkers.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Sit down now.
All right.
You mentioned Raven. Is that who gave the order to assassinate Paul Rezka?
Yeah? Shouldn't you know this already? You brought me out to debrief me, right?
When did you first make contact with him?
Why are you asking me all of this? You guys should know all of this. Unless you're not here to rescue me, and you didn't know any of this.
Finally figured it out, huh? This is definitely not a rescue.
Well, I'm not saying anything if that's the case. The people I work for scare me more than anything you could possibly do.
You sure about that? Imka, Dragov, toss him in the airlock.
I watched as the 2 men immediately started to drag him to the airlock and close the door behind them without even blinking. I could already tell I'd have Tiamann giving up everything he knew in just a few short seconds.
All right, All right, I'll tell you what I know. Just let me out of here.
Intel first.
Fuck. Fine. Look, there was this hacker. I never met him face to face, but he would get me Reska's schedule, and I was to conduct the hit during the speech. All I know about the guy is that he was from Azrael.
Was the hacker on Azrael during the hit?
Interplanetary hacks shouldn't be possible, Snow. You know that.
They are. They're just extremely difficult. Hey! Was he there or not?
Yeah, as far as I know, he was. I didn't hear from him after I got my orders.
This hacker of yours, got a name?
I never got his real name, only an alias. Stratus. And as far as I know, he's still on Azrael.
All right, next question. Why pose as a militia member during the hit? What is Raven planning?
Look, I truly don't know.
Okay then. Who is Raven? I want a name.
Jesus, you don't even know who you're going after. It's me. I'm Raven.
I rolled my eyes as he told us that he was Raven. I could tell this man wasn't the one who orchestrated the death of my team, and almost all of the previous ghosts, including my father. No matter how anyone looked at it, that didn't make any sense whatsoever. We could tell he was stalling, just trying to extend his lifespan just a few seconds more.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said you thought Raven employed people to get you out. Stop stalling and tell us what you actually know.
Look, I swear on my life, I've told you everything I know.
Fine. I believe you. Walking over to the door, I could see the relief on his face as I moved my hands towards the pad that would unlock the door. But as he began to realize that I opened the secondary airlock door and disabled the magnetic floor beneath him, that relief instantly turned to fear as he drifted off into space, only to die completely alone. That was for Paul Reska and all of Kaleidoscope. Turning to the others, we made our way planetside and touched down on Rialza 20 minutes later. Walking back into Harvey's bar, I found Sarah showing Harvey, of all people, how to play the game she was on when we left. Once she saw me, she sprinted over for a hug.
Hey, honey. You're not bothering Harvey now, are you?
Nah, she was great. Didn't get in the way or anything. The staff loved having her. So how did the meeting go?
Perfect. I got everything I needed.
That's good. Hopefully the next one goes just as well.
If my luck holds out for once, yeah. And thanks, everyone. You guys were great out there.
You know me, I always repay my favor, sister. Just try not to, need me for a little while, yeah? I can feel my life expectancy hit the floor every time I'm around you.
Things are more fun with you around, Kara. Don't disappear on us again.
Don't worry. I've got a feeling we'll see each other again soon, Dragov.
Snow.
Krukov.
You know, I hope for that kid's sake, you don't raise her to be like the rest of you. We're even now, right?
Yeah.
Good. Because the next time we see each other, I won't be as friendly.
This was you being friendly. Must be loads of fun on your guy's ship then.
Alright, you two calm down. So, what's the plan now, Kara?
Now I go to Azrael and hope that I can find the hacker. With any luck, this whole thing should be finished within the next few months.
Удачи тебе. See you soon.
Definitely. Sarah, you ready to go?
Yeah. Спасибо большое, Mr. Harvey.
Sarah and I left the bar and made our way back towards my ship. I could slowly feel that I was getting closer and closer to Raven with each passing day. But the closer I got, the less I could figure out what his plans were. Something in the back of my mind was telling me that there was a much larger picture forming that I just wasn't seeing. But with the intel I got from Tiamann, this was the closest I'd ever been to the person responsible for the death of my team. As we left Rialza's atmosphere and plotted a course for Azrael, I began to realize just exactly what the hacker could lead me to. If Stratus was even half as good as I believed, then he'd likely already know that I was onto him. I wanted every advantage I could possibly get, so once I put Sara down to sleep, I picked up my holo tablet and made a call to the conglomerate.